Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Things are ramping up right now. We just saw Melania Trump arrive looking like the Hamburglar if he shopped at Dior. She's wearing this amazing hat. We're going to go to the visual in a second. I just wanted to welcome you here today on our second ever live. A little last minute. I was supposed to have my co host Steve Morris here if you're watching. I know he's not. He's stuck in Florida because we had like 3 minutes of snow in New York and we can't handle that anymore. Temperatures are below freezing in DC. So you're about to see an inauguration that's taking place indoors. They're in the Capitol Rotunda. The only other inauguration that has taken place in there was Ronald Reagan, and I want to say 1984. And it's only a capacity of 700 people. So a lot of others are having to shuffle their way into the Capital One Center where he will do the parade and where he had a rally yesterday. And it's close quarters in there with their folding chairs, very last minute, but it's honestly a gorgeous room. We can take a look at it now, and I'll keep telling you what's going on as we wait for Donald Trump. Let me just get these things going. How about this? Can you see that? And can you hear that? I sound okay with the music? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, performing
look at this
Oh
timing.
America. Please welcome the Armed Forces Chorus and America's tenor, Christopher D. Macchio.
Okay, all respect to Christopher D. Macchio, who I've definitely heard of, but we're just going to do a little bit more scene setting here. I'm not sure that you're really going to miss the operatic performance. If you are wishing to engage with the musical stylings of Christopher D. Macchio, you know, you could stream him on Spotify later. Donald Trump had a little bit of a busy weekend, I would say. And it's something that I want to talk about here because I think a lot of us, we have the thing that I love to talk about, a little bit of American amnesia, where a lot of us were either too young to remember or have blocked out the way, the pace that the news cycle in the Trump first administration ran at. It felt like every 10 minutes we were getting an update on a story. He was signing another executive order. He posted something crazy on Twitter. It's really fast moving all the time. And I think this weekend we got the first taste of what that felt like again, where you had TikTok take an exit stage left and then re-enter stage right 12 hours later with a shout out to Donald Trump in the official statement on the app, which is crazy. Oh, let me put a pin in that. We've got Hakeem Jeffries here, minority leader of the House. You've got Vice President Kamala Harris in this jacket that I love, and outgoing President Joe Biden. The reporting this weekend on Joe Biden has been bleak and grim. He's said to be in a really kind of rough mental state, considering the environment that he is being released into from his 4 years as the president. Oh, I wonder what they're saying to each other right now, which I can imagine. He kind of came in as this hero to people on the left, and he was placing himself on our landscape as like somebody who could save this country from the precipice of catastrophe, from evil, from death, from fascism, whatever. And he is leaving as a figure who is more, there's more vitriol, more distaste for him than basically any president in modern history. So how far they have fallen, this is a, extremely partisan time. Oh, here's Vice President to be J.D. Vance, who will be the youngest vice president ever. I believe he's 39 or 40 years old, wearing a red tie. So he's doing the Donald Trump cosplay. It's something that you'll see a lot of in the next 4 years, and honestly a long time to come after that. We're buffering. Sometimes things will be buffering. JD Vance did not speak at the rally last night at Capital One Arena, but notably Elon Musk, who many are referring to as kind of a shadowy president figure, did. I do wonder if there's any sort of bitterness or resentment that will develop there, or already has developed there. Pausing, audio issue.
Just go to the start.
This one? Okay, we're back in a big way. We're still trying to figure out what's going on with this stream setup. So I thank you for your patience. You can roast me in the comments of the chat. Feel free. This is a big group walking in here. That's Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. I don't know who this Pilgrim lady is in the front, but...
Switch to the second one.
Oh, you can't even see this. Yeah, thank you. Now you can see you've got Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. You've got Senate Minority Leader, Chuck Schumer. You've got Steve Scalise, who is a high-ranking member of Republicans in the House. And my girl, the MC for the evening and for last inauguration too, Amy Klobuchar, senator from Minnesota. What a lineup. Kind of an intense crew coming in here. Oh, you can't even hear it. I have to unmute it again. Do we want to hear it? Let's see. No, I can't hear it. Now I can hear it. And here's the man of the a purple tie. I have never seen him wear a purple tie. This is kind of, what a very solitary entrance. This is to no fanfare. There's something so awkward about this entrance. Okay, that was bizarre. It must have been a different camera. Okay, we actually, this is the Hamburglar. We can't even see her face. I wonder what made this decision. I'm not sure if First Lady has worn a hat in the modern times. CW, Be Best. Melania Trump did say that she is excited to revamp the Be Best campaign, and I can't wait to see what happens with it. That is a beautiful jacket, though. It's a little flight attendant, but listen, she's directing traffic today. Adam Sema says, shouldn't they at least be playing Darth Vader music right now? Very funny, but they're getting Pomp and Circumstance instead. Doug Burgum, notably in between Barron and Melania. He ran for president. He was the governor of North Dakota. Great eyebrows. And one Elon Musk, who has now become a staple in Trump world. And we'll be seeing a lot of him as the days move forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, escorting the President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States, ranking member of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Deb Fischer, House Democratic Leader, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, and Senate Majority Secretary, the Honorable Robert Duncan.
Deb Fischer is the senator from Missouri, I want to say, or Nebraska, one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, the Honorable Joseph R. Biden Jr., and Vice President of the United States, the Honorable Kamala Devi Harris.
There's a funny anecdote that was being passed around about him the other day, that he had actually fractured his foot for his inauguration and didn't want to wear a boot because he thought it would make him look weak. What then happened was that fracture never healed, and it's part of the reason why he kind of shuffles when he walks now. Thought that was really interesting. Jack, shout out Jack, friend in the chat. I need to know the message behind the purple tie. I think he's either mixing colors or it's a sign of unity. Or purple is a royal color, so maybe he's claiming to be king. Let's hope it's the first. We'll take it as the first. I kind of like the purple tie. The red thing has never been my thing, so I think it's a nice
Ladies
change
and
of
gentlemen,
pace.
escorting the Vice President-elect, the Executive Director for the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Mr. Michael Wagner, Senate Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms and Doorkeeper, Jason Bell.
How do you
and
get the
House
job of
Deputy
doorkeeper?
Sergeant-at-Arms, Mr. Sean Keating.
So I don't know who any of these guys are. This is kind of just ceremonial, procedural stuff until we get going here. It's kind of crazy to see the difference of how this ceremony feels, very intimate, very close quarters, versus the potentially hundreds of thousands of people that would have shown up outside. I do feel bad for those people. They are getting commemorative tickets, not refunds. So it's kind of brutal, but here we go.
Vance.
Do you think he's nervous? I'm like, he's kind of young. I feel like if I were him, I'd be fucking nervous. That's his wife to the right of him, Usha. She is a lawyer, and she had clerked for, not Chief Justice, Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who will swear J.D. Vance in, friend of the family. Notably, right behind J.D. Vance is Jeff Bezos. Here's our tech billionaire bro row, kind of one or two rows behind the families. That's something that I didn't really expect to see until a couple weeks ago, and I'm pretty surprised to see it. They donated a lot of money in order to be in those chairs today. Let's see. I hope Doug throws his... Which Doug? Oh, Doug Emhoff. I was going to say Doug Burgum throwing a shoe is not something in his nature. I like her sweater thing. It looks comfy. Me too. It's a hard color to wear, and she looks good in it. There's a thread that I'd like to pull. Let me pause this. There's a thread that I'd like to pull sometime in the next weeks, months. We'll see how long it lasts. Fashion designers who very, very notably and uniformly rejected dressing Republican politicians and their wives for a long time have now embraced them with open arms. So, John Thune, who's now the majority leader of the Senate. Mitch McConnell stepped aside. Let's get in with these guys.
John Thune and the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies. House Democratic Leader, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries. House Majority Leader, the Honorable Steve Scalise. Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Mike Johnson. Senate Democratic Leader, the Honorable Charles E. Schumer. Ranking Member of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Deb Fischer. And Chairwoman of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Amy Klobuchar.
So the group of men that just walked in, if you were to leave today knowing like one group of people, it would be that group of men who are basically in charge of running Congress. You've got the House leadership, the Senate leadership, and they're going to have very, very tight margins to work with as they enter their new legislative session and try to get Trump's agenda over the finish line. It's going to be a challenge for them. But I wanted to shout out Mark Zuckerberg, who was floating around in a sea of people back there. He's very short. You can actually see him over here where my mouse is. His little curly hair. He's really oh, here we go. We got to get in here. Kristi Noem, who's going to lead the Department of Homeland Security pending confirmation. Oh, he can't kiss her with the hat brim. Do you think that was by design? Do you think it was on purpose? Blocking out the fucking haters? That's so crazy. You actually can't see her eyes. I love that move. That's insane. Oh, whoa. We just got confirmation that Biden pardoned a number of his family members. That is unprecedented. I have gone and spoken at length about my feelings about the pardon power and how it is overwrought and overreached and we need to pull it back. That's pretty much evidence, I would say. Not a good look, Biden family. It says a lot about the Biden crime family, as the Trumps would say, as the Trumps would call them. Oh, we've got Greg Abbott in frame there. The tan is notably pared back today.
Please be seated.
I'm getting some good notes for you guys. This is really good. Wow. The governors were booted into the overflow room to accommodate the tech bros. That is, if you need one thing that we're learning today about what the next 4 years is going to look like, it's going to be tech dominance, billionaire dominance. And I would say that almost politicians are going to have reduced importance and reduced presence, or will just be like the puppets of
Congressional Committee on Inaugural
these tech billionaires who are sitting in there while the governors are out. Amy, she's going to bring the house down like Nikki Glaser at the Golden Globes.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 60th presidential inauguration. Today, President-elect
So crazy that
Trump
doesn't feel like that
and
many.
Vice President-elect Vance will take their oaths of office, and we will witness the peaceful transfer of power at the heart of our democracy.
Who is POE2, CW?
For the past year, I've chaired the inaugural ceremony committee, which includes the leadership of Congress from both parties. We thank the committee and Capitol
That
staff
game. That's
and
why I
law
don't know.
enforcement who worked so hard over the last year, and especially the last 3 days. You've done a beautiful job, and you have shown grace under pressure.
Not me getting a shout out the first minute of the inauguration ceremony. There's Kimberly Guilfoyle, who was
Our theme this
engaged
year
to
is
Donald
our
Trump Jr.,
enduring
but we
democracy.
think they've
The
called it
presence of
quits.
so many presidents and vice presidents here today is truly a testament to that endurance. We welcome President Biden and Dr. Biden. We welcome Vice President Harris and
Notably,
Doug
no
Emhoff,
cheers. There will be
President
no
Obama,
cheers for them.
President Clinton and Secretary Clinton, President Bush and Laura Bush, Vice President Pence, Vice President Quayle and Marilyn Quayle. The justices of the United States Supreme Court are with us, all 9 of them, I counted. And of course, the
First
Trump
joke,
and Vance
nailed
families.
it. To no applause.
This ceremony marks what will soon be 250 years of our democracy. It is
I'm going to go ahead and put a mute on there. Love you, Amy, but I want to jump in and say something. During his term, he will oversee the biennial or bicentennial, I think, whatever, the 250th celebration of America as a country. He will also oversee 2 Olympics. No, 1 Olympics, the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, and the World Cup that will also be taking place in America. Those are big events where your country is kind of on display, and you're putting your best foot forward for the entire world who will be tuning in. And people have a lot of concerns about what that's going to look like, how well that will be managed. But if there's one thing Trump loves, it is spectacle, and it is show, and it is performance. So you know that will be commanding a lot of his attention as those events roll on. Klobuchar's got no riz. I actually beg to differ. I actually think Amy Klobuchar has a ton of riz, but it's just very quiet. Quiet riz, relaxed riz, low-key riz. But you guys don't care about her, so I'm not sure we need to listen. This event actually only takes like an hour. There's been a lot of different iterations of it. William Henry Harrison, somebody that people love to bring up, when it was this cold at his inauguration, he famously gave a 2-hour speech without a coat or a hat, and 31 days later, pooped out, died of pneumonia. So maybe this was suspicion and precaution moving this inside. Donald Trump is actually a very superstitious person, fun fact. So yeah, there's been a lot of different motions of the oceans. One of the trivia that I wanted to throw out to people the other day was, how many American Idols do you think, including today, American Idol contestants, how many do you think have performed at inaugurations? I'll let you guys stew on that one for a moment. But that was one of my favorite fun facts. But Carrie Underwood, I'll give that one away, will be performing here today. Honestly, it's very different to see her performing in a little room like this. The setup and the grandeur is very different than being out on the mall. Who could forget in 2021 when they had Jennifer Lopez do a mashup of This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie, known communist, and with Let's Get Loud, her iconic party song. God could have never predicted that those 2 things would ever cross paths, and yet they did. So here you can kind of see the entire rotunda room. It's not very big, but these paintings on the wall are obviously incredibly famous. There's of the Continental Congress, of the Revolutionary War. There's a lot of history in that room that we are taking in and beholding today. It's quite a nice setup. You could see on the corner here, blocked by Melania's beautiful hat, is Tim Cook, obviously Tim Apple, as Trump referred to him one time, the head of Apple. To his left is Vivek Ramaswamy, with a little bit of drama going on with Vivek. They've kind of kicked him out of the Doge crew, the Doge Bros, are no more. That was their first government efficiency, was slimming down to one head of the agency. And they're trying to get him to run for governor of Ohio instead. Who knows what that will look like? But he's there and exiled to the back row, which is oh my God. Vivek Ramaswamy. I've never heard that, but he does seem to bring a little bit of drama everywhere he goes. I can imagine he's kind of sad to be back there. I have to say, no one looks very happy other than Bill Clinton, who's smiling ear to ear over there. But he's a kind of happy dude. Let's tune into Deb Fisher for a minute.
Years is the ultimate test. To persevere through time is the truest measure of an idea, an institution, and a nation. Our founders wrote the Constitution so that America could withstand all the twists and turns of time. They wrote it to guide us and to preserve forever our right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Okay. Yeah, that's Deb Fisher. God love her. What else can I tell you about the day today? So there's typically a very long parade that goes on where they have stands all the way down, I think, Pennsylvania Avenue. And, you know, people come out, they cheer, there's performances and whatever. And that's all going to now be moved inside to the Capital One Arena where he had his rally last night. One of the very interesting things, notable from the past couple days and for the next couple days, is the celebrities who in the past have rejected and kind of turned their backs on Republicans and Trump specifically. The biggest example I can really think of is Snoop Dogg. His first go at the presidency, Snoop Dogg was like as anti-Trump as Trump gets, or as anti-Trump as somebody could get. And Snoop ended up kind of 180ing on the beat and showing up and performing at one of Trump's inauguration events. And it wasn't just him, it was Nelly. Rick Ross performed at it. So we're seeing a big cultural embrace of Donald Trump in a way that we did not see 9 years ago. Is that, yeah, it's 2025, 9 years ago. I cannot believe that's 9 years ago. Oh my God. And you can see that not just with rappers. There are musicians that are going to be performing today. Rascal Flatts. Carrie Underwood released her statement. She was like, we are moving forward with a commitment towards unity and reunifying this country. And there's just a cultural shift. I was actually saying when I arrived here today that I was going to get my coffee around the corner, and there was a guy, a construction worker, in the coffee shop wearing a Make America Great Again beanie. And that's really, I live in New York City. That's something that you would not have seen 9 years ago. So there is a real big difference, a real more concerted and willful or resigned embrace of Donald Trump than we had seen in his prior years. And I don't know how long that's going to last, but for the meantime, he's, embraced lovingly by the arms of billionaires and cultural behemoths.
Still, and know that I am God, supreme among the nations, supreme on the earth. Let us pray. Remembering General George Washington on his knees at Valley Forge, recalling Abraham Lincoln at his second inaugural, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right.
In case you're just joining us here, I'm Grace Weinstein from The Recount. I'd love to hear from you in the chat. Tell me everything that you're thinking about right now. Drop in whatever questions you have. We are watching a prayer go down after the beginning of these inauguration ceremonies, many of which are being moved inside to accommodate the freezing cold weather outside. And famously, a joke that, I think this is the overflow room, actually. Is that an MLK statue? It is MLK Day today. Just a funny confluence of events that this happens to be on the day of Trump's inauguration. And we are working and everybody else is off, but that's what we're here for. And that's what we will be here for in the next 4 years. We've got some dramatic things unfolding today. Amy Klobuchar missed her opportunity to make a hair in the blizzard joke. For those of you who don't know, for years, or over a year, when she was running for president, she had this line that she would say over and over again because she thought that Trump doesn't like to be in all types of weather with his hair. So she would get up there and say, I would ask him, let's see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. And there was this compilation video where she says it like 25 times. It's amazing. And she missed her opportunity to make a joke at that. But honestly, that's something that we should talk about. They might not want to poke the bear this time. Democrats got to make really unified, concerted efforts to ridicule Donald Trump and to write him off when he was president the first time, because one of the things that his cabinet and his administration suffered from was just kind of a basic level of incompetence. There were people who had never been in these positions before. They didn't really know what the rules were. They didn't know what the limitations were, which prevented them from getting a high amount of things done. The different thing about this administration, the second go, is that he is prepared. His team is prepared. They've read all the rules. They know all the loopholes. So I think there's less things that Democrats can do to counteract and poke fun at him. Oh, I wonder what there's Biden in the sky are saying. Because they're afraid of retribution. Retribution is going to be a theme for the next 4 years. So, especially considering the disarray that Democrats are currently operating in and seemingly always operating in, coming off one of their most painful losses ever. I think they're going to be hold their cards a little closer to their chest this time, is a little bit of my prediction. And yes, God has a sense of humor putting these two events on the same day. It is funny. Okay, Dip, what tone do you expect from DJT? So we went back and we read or watched his 2017 speech. And I remember back in 2017, people were like, this is so dark and it's so bleak and we can't believe the things that we're hearing on this dais on Inauguration Day. And we went back and watched it and we were like, oh, here was ousted Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, huge Trump ally. But he was the fall guy for the Congress in 2023. It was brutal to watch his take. Yeah, okay, iconic look on the right here. This pinstripe suit and cowboy hat I loved. What the hell was I saying? I was in the middle of something. Okay, got another note here for you guys. Oh, this is one of my favorite topics. If you haven't watched my kind of breakdown of right-wing media, you definitely should do that. There's a lot of the podcasters there today. Theo Vaughn is there, notably one of, actually, in my opinion, the most interesting interview that has ever taken place with Trump. Trump seemed really to connect with Theo Vaughn in a way that I've never seen him connect with an interviewer before. He was very curious and wanted to know about Theo, which is not, curiosity is not typically his foot that he leads with. So I highly recommend watching that too. The Paul brothers are there, and John Shahidi. I don't know who that is, but there's a lot of pod guys there. What I was saying, though, is what tone do you expect from Donald Trump? The 2017 speech at the time seemed very dramatic and intense and just had a mood that we weren't really used to at the beginning of that era. Now, in hindsight, and having gone 9 years since then and watched Trump very closely and at length since, it seemed kind of not light, but just it didn't pack a punch in any way. It had lofty ideas and, big grand words, but it wasn't as dark as I remembered it being. So I think he's actually going to come out here to shout out Jack, like with this purple tie. I think he's going to come out here and try to speak to the entirety of America and not just his people. You have to do that. Like, that is the bare minimum on Inauguration Day. Forget about it tomorrow. But who's this child in his little blue suit? Are these Vance's kids? Wait, okay, hold on. Oh my God. I think these are JD Vance's kids. Oh, she's got some Band-Aids on her fingers. Mood girl. I I always wonder, like,
Please
how.
raise your right hand.
Oh, we're getting right to
and
it.
repeat after me.
Wow. Okay.
I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear
I, James David Vance, do
James
solemnly
David.
swear
I didn't know that was
I
what
will
JD
support
stood for.
and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
Look at her
and
band-aid.
allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
Kamala
without any
Harris's
mental
face right now
reservation,
is.
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
So there is this weird period of time right here where the outgoing president is still president, but the incoming vice president is president. So for right now, Joe Biden is the president of the United States of America, and JD Vance is his vice president for the next incoming. What time is it? Oh, it's past 12:01, so it's time. It's game time for Donald Trump. And Barron is tall AF. He is 6'7". The last time somebody checked in with him, I think that was the read. If he tries to get the crowd to chant America first, like in 2017, shall I place a wager on it? What's the under? I'm taking the under. So this is the Chief Justice, John Roberts. It's
Please
always.
raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Oh, we don't have the
Donald
Bibles
John
yet.
Trump do solemnly swear
Don't have the Bibles yet.
Trump do solemnly swear
His hand
that
is
I will
not on the
faithfully
Bible.
execute
that I will faithfully execute
Wait,
the office of President of the United States
the office
why isn't
of
his hand on the
President
Bible?
of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
Wait,
preserve, protect,
his hand is not on this
the
Bible.
Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution
I love
of the
Tiffany's
United
coat.
States.
That's a really
help me
gorgeous
God.
So
coat.
help me God.
Congratulations, Mr.
Wait, I'm so confused. We all saw that, right? The hand was not on the Bible. Are they gonna have to reissue that? Oh, straight outside. Oh! Why do we do this? What is the point of this? I wonder why they did that. I know he has a Bible from his mother and a Bible, I think that was a Lincoln Bible. The Bible was only there for moral support. You guys are funny. Humor. That's the way that no matter how you're feeling, whether it's jubilant and celebratory or morbid and heartbroken, humor is the way that we move forward, you guys. This is pretty crazy to behold. I never thought I'd see this again. I really did not think that he would be back here, considering a couple years ago when he was persona non grata. What a redemption arc. It's true, Americans do love a redemption arc. Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham in the first row. Those are obviously two Fox News titans. Tucker has left. Laura Ingraham is still on, but it's crazy to see journalists that are very, very very partisan attending in support of a cabinet, an administration, and a president. I'm surprised it wasn't the Trump Bible either. I literally looked it up the other day and I was like, can he be sworn in on the God Save America Bible, which is just a King James Bible with, I think, a different foreword. Oh. Look at these doormen. They really do look like doormen. I love it. Oh, they're just bumping into everybody. Rudy Giuliani, notably not standing up. He just had to hand over another apartment. I'm waiting to see how they angle for him to run again in 2028. I'm kind of taking the under on that one too, but I could be wrong. You know, I think he's going to be too old. Yeah, they're really shoulder bumping these people. These people look so young. Oh, oh, oh. You think it's hot in there? I bet that it's a little warm. Okay. Here, I'm like, it's your inauguration day. It's basically like your wedding day. Can we get a smile? Like, I hate to pull the man tells woman to smile more, but it would be nice to see a smile. Let us know that you're happy. This has been a very understated show thus far, which, I mean, how can it be super, super grand when they planned it for months to take place outside and now everybody's shoved into this room? I'd be really curious to see the attendance list. And I think this is... Oh, joining the Navy is already miserable. Being paraded around like a singing doll is tough. I believe this is the Navy's Glee Club, if I remember correctly, on his like inauguration pamphlet of performers. I love that there's a Glee Club at the Navy. So this is actually what they love to do. They probably prefer this to going into battle, I would say. Oh. Let's see. So we've got a lot of religious imagery going on here. I know that's very common. But it is sometimes funny because, we grow up in school and everybody's like, the separation of church and state is one of the biggest and most foundational things that happens in America. And then as you grow up, you realize that church is deeply embedded in the state and has torchbearers in the form of people like Mike Johnson, bringing religion into every aspect and all the decision making of one of our branches of government. So that's kind of like an interesting thing to grapple with as you grow up. I'm gonna read a couple questions from Snap over here. Turn these guys down. They're beautiful music. Let's see. I love this question from Zeta. This is a silly question, but is Trump's day one today or does it start tomorrow? And is today like day zero? Today is day one. Today is day one, and we know that he's going to take advantage of it. He knows the words. He laid out a lot of plans this weekend, notably being that he's going to issue a bunch of executive orders, which are when the president says, I'm going to put forth basically this rule into the land and sign it. And it is a presidential proclamation that will take effect unless it's challenged in the legal system. Donald Trump loves an executive order, and people love to, what is the word that I'm looking for? People love to challenge his executive orders. So a lot of his EOs have gotten hung up in the legal system for days, months, weeks, rarely sometimes years. So when he issues 200 executive orders incoming very shortly today on day one, those will go into effect, but also be caught up in various lawsuits. A lot of those EOs that he's talked about signing have to do with immigration. Apparently, he's actually going to sign them on stage at this like little flimsy desk that they put in the Capital One Arena. And he's going to publicly sign them, which is something that I have not seen before. Yes, priority number one is renaming the Gulf of Mexico. I do believe that is the first one that he will be signing today, the Gulf of America, or what the president of Mexico put out, Claudia Sheinbaum. She was like, why don't we just rename America Nueva Mexico? It'd be great. Game time, you guys. Let's clock in here. Put your comments in the chat. I want to know what you're thinking.
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, thank you very, very much. Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, Justices of the United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris.
We're getting a
my
roll
fellow
call here.
citizens.
One of the things I'm watching
The
out for
golden
is to
age
see
of
if he
America
sticks
begins right
to the
now.
teleprompter. His biggest struggle in life is sticking to the prompter. So let's see how it goes. His speech in 2017 was 16
From
minutes.
this day forward,
So
our country will flourish
let's see.
and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
There's that America First call out that we were wondering. We'll see if the audience chants.
Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end.
This is a very low energy start here. There's not a lot of
Our
bulldog,
top
let me get at
priority
it.
will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America
lip
will
purse.
soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before.
Pretty basic start.
I
This is
return to the
typical.
presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country. Sunlight
because
is
he's trying to
pouring
read it.
over the entire
Yes.
world. And America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions
Hannibal
that have
Lecter.
illegally entered our country from all over the world.
He's not going to
We
say
have a
it.
government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly.
I wonder if that was ad-libbed. That seems like
And
it wasn't
other
written.
states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn. From weeks ago, without even a token of defense, they're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now.
Oh, God,
They don't
no,
have a
not the
home any
wealthiest
longer.
people in the world and how
That's
they're
interesting.
affected. Like,
We
come
can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change. We have a public health system that does
I
not
wanna
deliver
say
in
something
times
so
of
bad.
disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world.
I
And
do
we
have
an
to say that Mike
education system
Johnson
that
was the
teaches
one
our
who
children to
suggested
be ashamed of
conditioning
themselves in many
aid
cases,
to Los
to hate our
Angeles.
country despite the love that we try
So a little cognitive
desperately to
dissonance
provide
happening
to
here.
them. All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly.
If he gets aid to California today, God bless him. That will be a lovely thing to do. But the Republicans in Congress, his own Congress, has said they don't want to do that. for the first
Our
time.
recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal and all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over. Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years,
Like,
I have been
loyalty
tested and challenged
of the
more
government to
than any
who
president in
is
our
the question.
250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
His ear, which it is funny. We never really found out. We didn't get a report from the hospital. He talked about losing a lot of blood, but then you do really look at his ear and you're like, miraculous healing happened there, or very good plastic surgery, which is not out of the question.
Thank you very much.
So a lot of the people in the other room too are big, big donors who are
That is
very
why each
salty.
day
They're not
under
in this
our
room. I would be
administration
too.
Of American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day.
Liberation Day.
It is my hope that our
Biden
recent
laughing in the
presidential
side.
election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural, and very importantly, we had a powerful win in all 7 swing states.
That's
and
true.
The popular vote, we
Which
won
nobody
by
thought could
millions
happen.
of people. To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor.
His
but
honor.
in his honor,
The
we
shrug.
will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true.
In the words of Monique, I would like to see it. But until I see it, I do not believe it.
Thank you. Thank you.
W clapping on the side.
National unity is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country, we will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. Can't do that.
Can't do that. We will not forget our God. Can't do that. See, he wants to ad-lib so bad. He wants to get off script
Today I
so
will
bad.
sign a
But they'll
series of
shock collar
historic
him.
executive orders.
Here we
With
go.
these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense.
Biden is laughing. Look at
First-
his laughing.
I will declare a national emergency at our southern border.
There is something really profound about these two women that he beat, Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, having to watch him do this, perform this. Like, they are dealing with a public face that I could never put on. I could never. So however you feel about them, like, you gotta respect them for that.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy.
Yeah, that's one of the big ones that he wanted to bring back, where you have to stay in Mexico until your asylum
I will end
hearing,
the practice
which
of
never
catch
happens.
and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
The reason for doing that is because then you can use military force against them. Without that designation, you really can't just like use the military. So that would be crazy. And I'm truly not sure where that's gonna go.
And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities.
Yeah, using military force on a border with another nation,
As
what could
Commander
possibly
in
go
Chief,
wrong?
I have no higher
Seriously.
responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before.
That's an ad lib. You
Next,
know
I
that's
will
not in the
direct all members of my
teleprompter.
cabinet to
gotten
marshal
good
the
at
vast
that.
powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices.
My mother just texted me, insane speech.
The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
So the people in that room are kind of treating this like a State of the Union speech where you stand up and clap and that's your signal of like, we support you. But usually half is sitting down because they're Democrats, and obviously the Democrats are not there.
America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have, the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it.
Ooh, Kimberly, WhiteHouse.gov has officially been taken
will bring
over. That's so
prices
quick
down.
that they do it.
Fill our strategic
Archived.
reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world. We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal, and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers.
There is like a little bit of confusion for me there because it's like his guy is the electric vehicle guy. Elon Musk's entire like thing is promoting electric vehicles,
In
and he's
other
like,
words, you'll be able
screw
to
that.
buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote. I will immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens.
There's the tariffs incoming. Gird your loins.
For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service.
Yes, this is the new
collect all
thing.
Tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury, coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before to restore competence and effectiveness to our federal government. My administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency.
So we've got the ERS, not the IRS, the External Revenue Service, and DOGE. So we're adding 2 more government agencies with the intention of reducing government agencies, if I have that right.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
A lot of the tech guys behind him have, already bent the knee to that process. Mark Zuckerberg, for instance, rolling back the fact-checking on all of Meta's platforms, releasing the limits on politics on Instagram, which we love that, but fact-checking is a good thing.
Never
Oh, there's
again
Bernie
will
Sanders.
the immense power of
Not
the state
standing.
be weaponized to persecute political opponents. Something I know something about.
Ad lib.
We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen.
He can't help
again.
it.
Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life.
Socially engineer. That is a very interesting descriptor.
We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Yeah, they're eliminating all DEI practices in government agencies and
As
going
of
to
today,
merit-based.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female.
Yeah, there's been an ongoing thing in... Ooh, yelling, okay. Ongoing thing in Congress with the first transgender woman in Congress. Had a little bit of a bathroom.
This week, I will reinstate any
thing.
service members who
She's
were
not-
unjustly
she's not allowed to use
expelled
the
from our
bathroom of her
military
choosing.
for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay.
With full back pay, where is that money coming from? Look at these TikTok boys with their TikTok hair.
And
I wonder
will
who they
sign
are.
an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately. Our armed forces will be freed to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies.
Super curious if the Department of Education survives this administration. I think it does, but it's going to be totally gutted and basically useless. Which is by Linda McMahon, which is, I never thought I would say that in a million years.
Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
Maybe it's cold in there because she's wearing a fur hat and a fur jacket. What would you guys rank this out of 10? This speech so far, I would like to know.
Legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier. I'm pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families.
Ooh, Biden can barely stand up. Yikes.
Thank you. America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name.
Who made that joke 10 minutes ago that this is the first executive order?
William McKinley to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs.
For the record, he has a deep obsession with William McKinley. He has a fascination, fixation with President McKinley.
President McKinley made our country very rich through tariffs and through talent. He was a natural
Like, what a strange
businessman.
person to
He
be
gave
obsessed
Teddy
with.
Roosevelt the money for many of the great things he did, including the Panama Canal, which has foolishly been given to the country of Panama after the United States. The United States, I mean, think of this, spent more money than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000 lives in the building of the Panama Canal. We have been treated very badly for
This
foolish
obsession
gift that
with the
should
Panama
have
Canal
never been
also
made.
is
And Panama's
bizarre.
promise to us has been broken. The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been totally violated. American ships are being severely overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form, and that includes the United States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
This is the inauguration. Why are we fucking talking about the Panama Canal? Literally everyone was like, I'm voting because I think the economy is bad. Therefore, let's save the Panama Canal. Strategically, the Panama Canal in 2025 is not that important. They can have it.
Above all, my message to
Let's talk about anything
Americans
else.
today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our
Sorry, I was just
expectations, and carries our flag.
This speech is
into new
longer
and
than
beautiful
2017.
horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
Who cares? I'm sorry. Like, Adam, in the chat, you're saying the home interest rates hit 7% today. And we're like, oh my God, but thank God we're going to go to Mars. Oh, look at Elon. He can't even get the Boeing people back from the moon or from the space station. Can we?
Ambition
I'm anti-space, though. Many of you know
is the
this. We need to
lifeblood
stay
of a great
here.
nation.
Fix it
And
here.
right now, our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation. Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the next great adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness. They crossed deserts, scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. If we work together, there is nothing we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought,
Like, this is not convincing that he believes that.
Such a historic political comeback. But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken.
Like, when he describes America as an idea, which has always been like the thing that presidents do, America as an idea of a perfect nation, his heart is not in that. Like, he doesn't sell it when he says that, because I don't necessarily think that he believes that. When he talks about his ideas, that's when he sells it. But this, I'm not buying it.
To do. In America, the impossible is what we do best. From New York to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Miami, from Houston to right here in Washington, D.C., our country was forged and built by the generations of patriots who gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. They were farmers and soldiers, cowboys and factory workers, steel workers and coal miners, police officers and pioneers who pushed onward, marched forward.
This is a laundry list.
Obstacle to defeat their spirit.
Like reading a grocery list.
Together they laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built great highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and triumphed over every single challenge that they faced. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help, we will restore America, promise, and we will rebuild the nation that we love, and we love it so much. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. So to every parent who dreams for their child, and every child who dreams for their future, I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you. We're going to win like never before.
Like never before. You've never seen it before. We're going to win. Nobody has ever seen it before. Empty calories, I think that's a really nice way to say it. We're getting the words, it's giving in-class reading, but we're not focused on what the words are saying, is kind of what the sense that I'm getting from him.
In recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to bring it back and make it great again, greater than ever before. We will be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism. Our power will stop all wars and bring a new spirit of unity to a world that has been angry, violent, and totally unpredictable. America will be respected again and admired again, including by people of religion, faith, and goodwill. We will be prosperous. We will be proud. We will be strong, and we will win like never before. We will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will not be broken, and we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation. We will stand bravely. We will live proudly. We will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours.
Like there's no flow.
Thank you. God bless America.
Like, that's supposed to end on a crazy crescendo. The future is ours. Like, how, I just don't understand where it was emotionless. I think that's the strangest thing about it to me. Maybe that's just me, but like, there was no emotion in that, which almost is a little scary in a way. Because maybe it would make people feel better if there was emotion in saying, you know, we are the greatest country that ever lived and we will restore this country to the promise that the founders you know, people can get worked up by that. You can get into it. You can be like, okay, I'm buying in.
Performing America the Beautiful.
That didn't exist there.
Chorus and Carrie Underwood.
All right. Let's answer my American Idol question. There have been 3 American Idol contestants that have performed at inaugurations. Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson. Please try to guess the third in the chat. I need to see if anybody can pin the tail on the donkey on this one. Standing right in front of Kamala Harris. I forgot Jennifer Hudson was on American Idol. No, not her. That would have been a good one, though. Uh-oh. No, it's not playing in there. She looks awkward. I think we're good, but the music isn't working in there. This is so awkward. Oh no, I literally can't watch. She should say something. Oh my God, literally say something. Oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. This is so... Biden should tap her and be like, it's so nice to meet you. What the fuck is going on? Amy Klobuchar, paging Amy Klobuchar to the stage. Please get up there and make a joke. This is so bad. No, it's not Jennifer Hudson. Keep guessing. Wait, this is insane that nobody is just like doing anything or saying anything. Guys.
You know the words, help me out here.
Yeah, go a cappella.
Oh,
okay, good, smart girl. Smart girl.
Jeez. For amber waves of grain, for purple mountains.
Ooh, I like the glam. She looks great. This is crazy. I'm not gonna sing for you guys. This is so awkward. I can't believe this is happening. Good for her. Didn't shake Kamala Harris's hand. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, that was so crazy. I'm like, what happens next, you guys? It's anybody's guess.
Senator Fisher will now introduce the benediction clergy.
Okay, the benediction is kind of where we're going to tap out here and talk about.
Now call on Rabbi Ari Berman, Pastor Lorenzo Sewell.
Yeah, I think we got enough God in this Chili's for one day. What a way to end it, you guys. I think that is the perfect encapsulation of what kind of vibe and mind space you should inhabit going into the next 4 years. Things can be a little chaotic. They can not go as planned. They can throw you for a loop. They can be a little awkward. They can be not what you wanted to see or hear, or it can be exactly what you wanted to see and hear. You really don't know what's going to happen. I think the unknown and the unpredictable nature of the man who is taking over the presidency launches us to unknown places, and we have to be okay with not knowing where things are going, which that's a huge source of anxiety for people in their lives. It's a huge source of anxiety for me, the unknown. Okay, I'm like, we can get out of this feed anyway. Yeah. Hi. It's a big source of unknown, and we're going to have to deal with that. I think the first thing we can do today is soak in kind of the world as it stands, that he is the world stage that he's walking onto, where TikTok is back and posting messages of praise and thanks to him, where, you know, influencers like James Charles, for example, posted a like Make America Great Again video because he saw that Trump brought back TikTok. So we can start to understand that more influencers and famous people might be climbing onto the Trump train, buying their ticket one way to the White House. And we can start looking at the plethora of executive orders he's going to sign today. We don't know what those look like yet. He's going to sign them on stage, it seems like. We'll watch it, not here live with you, but we can chat, you know, on Snapchat, on the Discord, wherever you want to be. It's going to be a long 4 years. Buckle up. We're here for you every step of the way. Hopefully we can start to do a little more of this live chit chat and hang together. I really enjoy it. After Election Day, it seems like a lot of you really enjoyed it. And I was glad that you guys showed up a little bit today, even though it was just me. And I know Steve, producer Steve, is a big selling point. But yeah, VR Vento, we should have an understanding of where things are going over the next 100 days. I agree. And maybe I have to film an episode of WTFA, which you should be subscribed to both on YouTube and on Snapchat. We have to film that tomorrow. So if that's something that you want us to talk about, what the first 100 days looks like, we easily can. I think that might be an interesting topic. But if there's anything else, drop it in the chat. Let me know. Otherwise, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We got a long way to go, but we got this. More festivities await. I'll catch you on the other side. How do I turn this thing off? And this is Wyatt from Guilty Dogs Productions. Thank you for letting us use the studio.
Anytime.
Make sure to like and subscribe to both The Recount and Guilty Dogs.
Okay. Bye, guys.